Welcome back to the Self-Aware Leader. I'm Jason Rigby. And today, guys, I want to talk about a leadership crisis that I believe nobody's naming correctly. Why do your employees not trust you? Not you specifically, just leadership in general. And most leaders have no idea how deep this distrust actually runs. A lot of us don't know, where did this come from? And what do I need to do to actually fix it? And I want to use an example today that's going to make this super concrete. We're going to talk about the most influential leader in human history. Not a general, not a president, not a CEO, Jesus. So stay with me here. This isn't a religious episode. I don't care what you believe. But if you're serious about leadership in 2026, you need to understand what he did. Because he was operating in the same exact environment you're operating in right now. And I believe Jesus cracked the matrix. He cracked the code in leadership. He figured it out. And today we're going to figure it out by looking at his example. But before we get to the solution, let's make sure we have clarity on the problem. Your employees, especially the younger ones. We always hear about this, how hard it is to lead young people. They walked into your building and they already decided. Well, that's not fair, Jason. They're already suspicious. Well, I don't, why should they be suspicious of me? They're already watching you. What are they watching you for? To see if you're going to disappoint them. And most leaders take that personally. And they're like, Jason, I'm nice. I do pizzas and I have parties and I make sure I don't yell at them. I do everything. Why can't they give me a chance? But here's what you don't understand about the people sitting across from you. Think about this young generation. Put our empathy, cool Nike shoes on that they have on, their Jordans. And let's think about this. They grew up watching politicians lie on camera. Repeatedly, shamelessly. And what happened? Nothing. How many of them's gone to prison? Both sides, left and right. They watch CEOs get $100 million bonuses. And then to make sure that they pad their shareholder value / profits, what do? They'll lay off thousands of workers before Christmas, not even blink an eye. They're in Italy in their yacht. These young people see this. These young people went through 9/11 and COVID. They watched institutions fail in real time. Their parents are self-absorbed, distracted, worshiping money, trying to, they don't even talk to them. Everybody's on their phone. Their teachers, they're burnt out. And then they went home. And what did they do? They opened TikTok and YouTube. And they watch people perform. There's no authenticity. The algorithm doesn't reward that. So when you think of this young person, they have been let down by authority their entire lives. They don't know what it is. They don't know what real leadership looks like. They walk into your office, your Zoom call, your team meeting, and all they know to do with evolutionary psychology is to pattern match. Consciously or not, they are waiting for you to be the next version of everything they've already seen. Guys, this is who you are leading in 2026. And the sad part is most leaders respond to distrust by doing two things. One, they get authoritarian. I'm the boss. This is how it works. Get in line or I'm going to fire you. Or some of the kind people, they get passive aggressive, don't they? They avoid confrontation. They try to be liked. They try to keep their distance. Let's make it safe. Both of these responses confirm exactly what they were thinking in the first place and what they believe. And neither of them work. We can see that. We have a leadership crisis now, don't we? All around the world. So let's reverse the tape. Let's go back 2,000 years. And let's think of Jesus. He shows up in one of the most politically toxic environments in human history. You've got the Romans. They're the most brutal, right? Pure authoritarian testosterone power. Brutal, super brutal. They occupy your land, tax you into poverty, And anyone that steps out of line, they do the worst possible. Crucifixion was the worst way to die. And they put it publicly so everybody stays in line. Titles, and force. That's the Roman system. Now, you've got another system, the Jewish religious elite. Self-absorbed, protecting their position. They use spiritual authority to control people. And they were the richest. In those communities, they were the richest. They just enriched themselves off of religion. And performed constantly. Disconnecting themselves from the people that they were supposed to serve. Sound familiar, those two? How do you think the people felt? They were exhausted. Deeply suspicious of everything. Anyone who claimed authority or any type of power, they were out. Think about that environment. A little bit worse than now, huh? But in that environment walks this guy from Nazareth, a nobody town, a carpenter's kid. And how does he build the most loyal, committed, world-changing team in human history? How did he do that? Take religion out. Let's just say, how did he do that? How is he the most famous person in the world? Everybody knows who he is. He did the opposite of everyone around him. He didn't lead from position. You know what he did? He led from presence. He didn't demand loyalty. He earned it by investing personally. And he did it in people that no one else would touch. He made amazing leaders out of tax collectors, prostitutes, fishermen. People who had been written off by every institution around them. He noticed them. And in a crowd of thousands, he stopped for individuals. He learned what they actually needed, and then he followed through. And I know it sounds simple, but that's it. That's the whole model, guys. And I'll tell you why this hits me personally. I was at a really large event once, thousands of people there. And there's someone I admired from a distance, a mentor figure was speaking that day. And I had looked up to this person for years. And I was just a regular attendant, nobody in the room, right? There's no reason for this person to know I exist. But someone in his team walks up to me and they start talking. And then they bring me over to him. And this famous mentor gave me 10, 15 minutes. And he focused. He had real focused attention. He wasn't performing. He wasn't networking. There was nothing I could give him. He was truly present. And then he asked real questions and listened. And then he made a commitment to help me. And you know what he did? He followed through on it for a whole year. He made the commitment for a year and followed through on a whole year. And he, we could all say his team when there were systems and that's how they do it. And they talk to people. I don't care. That's one of the most impressionable things that's ever happened to me in my whole life. Guys, I still remember it. And that's the thing about genuine investment. It doesn't take that long. But it's super rare. And when somebody does it, it changes a person's life. And I want you to think about the leaders in your own life who made an impact. And I bet you have a version of the same story I had. They saw you. They saw you. They saw you when you felt invisible. And they said something motivating and specific and visionary. And you looked at them and said, they understand me. They understand my situation. And then they showed up for me. And they didn't have to do that. And can I tell you something right now? And I want you to really listen to this. Your employees are starving for this. They don't need another ping pong table, IPA tabs, flexible Fridays, all hands meeting with the slide deck. They need someone who actually gives a damn about them, that looks at them as a human being, not ROI. So I want to talk about lazy leadership and what that looks like in 2026. You get the title. Maybe you earned it. You worked hard, you performed, you got promoted, and now you're running the team. Oh, you're running it, but you haven't read a leadership book in 2 years. When's the last time you had a real one-on-one with your direct reports? Not a status update about the project. I'm talking a real conversation about where they're going, what they need, how they're doing. Are they struggling outside of work? Do you actually know what they want to build for themselves and their careers and their family? Or are you just being lazy and relying on the title to do the work? Well, if you're being lazy, your team already knows it. They can feel the difference. You're just another let down leader. You're managing processes, performing, all of those things. And they know you're coasting. They know you're checked out. To them, you're checked out. So what do? They do the same. They do the minimum. They're not going to bring you real problems. They're going to look away from those things. And I know it's confusing to you because you're like, hey, I gave them really good pay. But you don't mean anything to them. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't break the status quo. And here's what Jesus understood where most modern leaders completely missed. Not doing anything wrong is not the same as doing something right. And I know this world, everybody's so nervous that they're going to do something wrong, but we need to forget about that. Your employees don't need you not to be terrible. They need you to be for them. Actively, specifically, consistently. And guys, that's servant leadership. That's not soft leadership. It's not weak leadership. Tell me Jesus was weak or soft. He wasn't. Servant leadership is actually harder than authoritarian leadership. You know why it's harder? Because you have to get over yourself. It requires you to care more about what they become than what they produce for you. I'm going to say that again. When you can be able to care more about who they are as a person and what they become more than what they produce for you. So practically 3 things, and these aren't complicated. I'm going to make it a quick podcast today. Know their names and their story. Write these down, guys. Know their name and their story. Not their job title, their actual story. What they're trying to build, what they're afraid of, what are they doing before they work for you? Real curiosity in your people, one-on-one, listening, phone away. That will tell you more than 100 status reports. Number 2, make commitments and keep them. This is embarrassingly simple, isn't it? Nobody does this, and they're expecting you not to do this. Build a system around this so you remember. A simple system so that you can go back and look over and over again and know. It's as simple as putting something on the calendar. For me, that's what I do. And I put the processes over and over and over again on the calendar so I always remember. Birthdays, super simple. Have somebody do that for you. Set it up in there. Their anniversary on how long they work for you. Taking them to lunch. Never eat alone, right? Take the time. Leave your office and go to lunch with somebody. You should be doing that every day. The amount that the lunch costs you, guarantee you'll make up. What happens? When you follow through, and every time that you follow through, you make a deposit into their trust account. And every time you don't, you make a withdrawal. And I believe in 2026, most leaders are overdrawn and they don't even know it. So 1, know their names and their story. 2, make commitments to keep them. 3, be present when you're with them. Not physically present, actually present. Laptop closed, screen off, phone down. Listen. They can tell. You can tell in 30 seconds or not. I hate that with podcasters. I watch a lot of podcasts. I'm mainly on YouTube. I don't watch very much Netflix or anything else. I just love watching podcasts. And I hate it when one of the two is on their phone or they look down or they're not paying attention or they're looking at their screen. Especially on Zoom calls, you'll see the other person or you'll hear clicking sounds like they're typing while that person's talking. I cut the podcast off. I can't stand that. To me, presence is the most underrated leadership skill of our times. Why? Because it's rare. Another reason, everyone's so starved for it. Everybody wants attention, right? It's an attention economy. Everything is about attention. So when you actually show up, it's going to land totally different than what you even expect and better than you expect. The trust gap between leaders and employees is real. It's deep. And it was there before you walked in the room, and you're not going to fix it, guys, with a policy, a retreat, a town hall, an IPA beer tap. None of those things are going to fix it. You fix it the same way Jesus fixed it 2,000 years ago. One person at a time. with genuine investment, with presence, with follow through. And you're like, Jason, I don't have the time for that. Stop being a secretary. You're avoiding this by being a secretary. I talked to so many managers and leaders about this. I'm like, why are you doing something? I walked into one leader's office here recently and they're filling out these 3x5 cards. And I'm like, how long have you been doing this for? And they're like, oh, about 45 minutes. And I'm like, so 45 minutes, somebody could write out 3x5 cards for you. That's like a $15 an hour job. And you've been doing it for 45 minutes. You could have talked to 2 people in that time frame or had a really heart to heart with one. Start dishing stuff off. You don't need to be a secretary, but guess what? If you're busy and you don't get to talk to people, oh, wow, I was busy today. And this isn't a strategy, guys. This just makes you feel good when you love people because it's the right way to lead. And you know what? Okay, for those that are logical out there, here's the thing. The ROI follows. The engagement follows. The loyalty follows. The profit follows. All of it follows. But it follows genuine investment. It doesn't precede it. So guys, stop leading from your title. Start leading from actually caring what happens to the people in front of you. That's the whole episode. I'm done. I hope this helped you guys. If you want to go deeper on this, everything I write about leadership, self-awareness, and this real stuff that's underneath the surface, go to jasonrigby.substack.com. It's free to subscribe. Go there. Thank you, guys. Be a self-aware leader. See you next week.